Third-party games, third-party characters. There's more of them coming to the Switch, and some of these are pretty darn exciting. It was an eventful Monday in the world of Nintendo as Devil May Cry, more Darksiders, and Biomutant all had dates and games announced/leaked for our little hybrid platform.
The third-party army grows even stronger on Nintendo Switch. This is cool.
Third party assemble.
Yeah, whoa. Hey, copyright infringement. I'm a fan of two of these franchises. One, has never existed before and is very unique looking, I'll say. So, all right, let's get into the game, Zach. I want to start off with Devil May Cry, though.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah,
it's a known quantity, right? There may or may not be a Nintendo connection that I'm sure you're going to bring up here in a second.
Ooh.
Okay, a little teaser. Go ahead.
Devil May Cry, and we're not talking about 5, we're talking about 1.
Yeah.
That originally released in 2001 is coming into the Switch. The official Devil May Cry Twitter tweeted, "Relive the adventure that introduced the legendary Dante to the world, coming to Nintendo Switch this summer." No date, no price point, although given the Resident Evil prices, we can expect it to probably be around $25-$30.
Yeah, 20, 25, 30. We'll wait on pricing. Let's not speculate too much on that. How do you feel about the game, though? Were you a fan of this one back in the day? Did you play it very much? PlayStation 2, was that your jam?
I have tried Devil May Cry on PS2. I have not extensively played. I'm much more a fan of the later entries. It's an interesting choice. I wish that they were bringing the other DMC to the platform. I love that one a lot. But, I mean, it's good that Capcom is getting so many of their franchises on the Switch. And as we, have talked before, like, the Switch becoming a place that houses so many of these top-tier franchises and kind of becomes this nostalgic chronicle of gaming over the last few generations. Like, from that standpoint, it's a cool get.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. You would imagine that if this does well, there's a couple more games that they could bring over from the PlayStation 2 era. Devil May Cry 2 and 3, also like fun entries, and one of those wasn't even originally a Devil May Cry entry. The development of, I think it was like 3, was like kind of weird, but it's a cool series to have. And yes, Devil May Cry 5, the newer one, would be awesome to have on Switch. It's not happening right now. We gotta wait for Bayonetta to get our action fix more than likely, but this is a very good start, and you get to see how one of Capcom's most iconic franchises begun. Zach, did you know there was a Devil May Cry anime I saw back in the day? That was cool.
Yeah. You're into that?
Yeah, Devil May Cry was like big at one point. Not that it's not big now. It's still really well revered, and
sure.
5 reviewed very well, so I'm excited for this one. Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't choose to bring the DMC HD collection over. That houses 1, 2, and 3 and released on other platforms. That collection might have been a little bit of a better get. In fact, that one also includes Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. But maybe that's just too much. I don't know. Either way, you are getting DMC this summer. Add it to the list.
That's it. They made sure.
Oh yeah, no physical.
Yeah, they made sure to say, because people were asking. So, digital only, and it's gonna be a worldwide release. So yeah, have fun with that.
All right. Before we get to the next game, we must address the Sakurai in the room, which is the rumblings that does this inclusion of DMC on a Nintendo platform have any correlation or connection to a potential DLC inclusion for Dante in Smash Bros. A while back, Hideki Itsuno, the director from Devil May Cry 5, said Devil May Cry has never been on a Nintendo platform when asked about Dante joining the greatest fighter ever. He said, "So it seems like the first thing would be to get Capcom to put Devil May Cry on a Nintendo platform in some way, shape, or form, whatever game that might be. And now Capcom is putting Devil May Cry on a Nintendo platform in some way, shape, or form via this original release this summer."
Yeah, could this mean that Dante is in Smash? It wouldn't surprise me, like, whatsoever. He seems like a good fit. I can imagine him in the game quite easily. So maybe. I mean, I don't think that this game only exists on Switch to make him playable in Smash one day, like, because Capcom has a thing with bringing over their older games and putting them on Switch and selling them for a little bit more. So maybe. Again, wouldn't surprise me at all. Maybe, like, we should almost expect it at some point, but I don't think that's... Yeah, I don't think that's why the game exists, though.
Yeah, I guess I definitely can see it, and I do, fully believe that the fighter pack is going this third-party route, but I don't know. I'm going to say that while it's fun speculation, I don't know. Yes, he's a fit, like, move-wise, weapon-wise, but I don't know. I don't... no Dante for me in Smash Bros. Give me somebody else.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, we'll have more information when we get a date, and hopefully the Resident Evil ports prove that Capcom is really raring to go and up to the challenge with these. Alright, let's move on to Darksiders 2. Now, Darksiders 1 is one of the best ports on Switch. Gabe, you love playing that on the platform. You have talked multiple times about how you dived way deeper than you expected just because it does run and play so well. They have that super smart option where you can go with the frame rate or the resolution modes. Really smart and helpful. And now EB Games Canada has leaked that Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition is coming on August 30th. Now, websites with Switch leaks are usually things that we take with a grain of salt, but EB Games Canada is much, much, much more reliable than, say, a random shop in a random country, and THQ Nordic has done a lot with Switch, so this only makes sense.
I mean, to be fair, Canada is a random country to other countries, I guess. But it sounded like you said Definitive Edition. It's Definitive.
Definitive.
Yeah,
Definitive.
Okay, all right. Well, you gotta emphasize. You gotta emphasize death. In the game, you play as Death. In case you didn't know, one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And the first one you play as War. Death is in the second one. It's a fun game. It's really, really good. Like you mentioned, right? The port for the original Darksiders on Switch is so good. I believe that is how all ports should be handled. And it makes sense that they're going to work on bringing this one over because it ran on the same platforms that the previous one ran on. And if they can make it look and run that good here, I'll be all for it, especially because I never finished Darksiders 2. I finished the original many times.
I feel like a lot of people have played the beginning of Darksiders 1 or a lot of Darksiders 1. Like, that is very familiar to plenty of players, especially because it earned the moniker of, like, the M-rated Zelda adventure. Darksiders 2 did not have as much hype and probably did not have as much positivity surrounding it, but it still is a super fun time. I will say that I recently played a bunch of 1 and 2. To be honest, I'm not sure that I will get either DMC or Darksiders 2 on Switch. I'm not the biggest fan of replaying things. I'm not the biggest fan, honestly, of older titles from, whether it's 7 or 18 years ago coming to the Switch. But I am pretty pumped for this third and final third-party edition, and that is Biomutant. Now, this also comes via the EB Games Canada leak, and it is listed for March 30th, 2020. Now, that's a very specific date. It's not the December 29th or December 31st that we often see as a random placeholder, so perhaps this one is going to be coming next year. The game is releasing on PS4, Xbox One, PC, supposedly mid-2019. There's no date yet, but it does seem like the Switch version is going to be post-release on the other consoles.
Yeah, I mean, for anybody unfamiliar with the game, like, they are touting this new combat style that allows you to, like, change up the gameplay quite a bit. It looks really cool. You play as, like, is it a raccoon, Zach? It's like...
Yes, he is definitely a rodent of sorts. You can customize quite a bit about him, Gabe. Important things like body thickness, fang size, fur color, fur length.
Yay, okay. You get to
hold on, your customization affects your character. So if you have a thicker, heavier character, he'll be able to do more damage, but he'll be slower. A thinner character, less fur, will be able to move quicker, but will take more damage.
Yeah, it says you'll be able to recode your genetic structure to change the way you look and play. This will, yeah, and then you go into how it affects it. But yeah, it looks really cool. They have some next level crafting, have a bunch of gear, a vibrant open world, an unusual story with an unusual end. Zach, when I'm being teased with an unusual end, yeah, I'm in.
Well, and in all seriousness, like the game does actually look pretty cool. I don't know how it turns out, how it plays and performs will be mission critical, but it does look really cool. It's one I'm kind of excited for. It fits that spot of like a mid-tier title that has really interesting ideas and concepts and could be kind of a surprise hit for the year, or I guess for next year for Switch. It also has some pretty creepy and weird looking monsters and enemies and just cool attacks, weaponry, and customization there. So I am excited about this kit. I think this has been a big open world type title with a lot of customization, a lot of interesting combat, and just, at least from the trailers we've seen, really pretty and unique environments. Like this one coming to Switch to me is really impressive and frankly much more enticing than games, like I said, from past generations.
Okay, but this is coming out on other platforms this year. Are you willing to wait for Switch, or are you playing it elsewhere first?
I guess it depends how long. Again, it was targeting a mid-2019, so if this is something that gets, say, an August release date, then yeah, that seems like an aggressive amount of time to wait August and March. But if it's something that, gets pushed to the fall and it's a October, November release, then it's much more palatable to just say, hey, like, taking this on the go would probably be really appealing.
Yeah, regardless, 3 bigger at least. Third party,
big-ish.
Yeah, third party announcements. Yeah, I'm glad all these are happening. I know that people are tired of replaying games that they've played before. I get that, but some younger people have maybe never experienced the original Devil May Cry. Maybe some people missed out on Darksiders II, the Death Innovative Edition. Right, as you said, the first one is the heralded one. So yeah, I feel like it's good to have those on there. It's not new stuff, but the new stuff is coming. E3 is on the horizon. I see it, Zach. It just needs to be above us. It just needs to move a little bit more.
Well, here's something that I find incredibly fascinating. This video, talking about 3 third-party editions, chronicles 3 decades of gaming. So Devil May Cry comes from the aughts, 2001.
Yeah.
And then you have Darksiders II, releasing at the beginning of the tens decade. And if Biomutant, is coming out on the suggested March 30th, 2020 release date, that is another decade. 3 different decades of games on the Switch. And whether that is confusing, surprising, or just really darn cool, up to you to decide. But it's so interesting that in the same day, we're having games that are all still like notable franchises, 3D, action-y type games, chronicling 3 separate decades of gaming history. And to me, like, that is, while I'm not excited about, hey, we're getting all these old games on Switch, I am excited to see that the Switch become this machine that houses so much of our industry. And I only could wish that Nintendo would adopt a similar mentality and bring their decades of gaming a little bit more quickly to the platform.
Yeah.
All right, that is it for the announcements. Let us know in the comments down below which game you're most excited for. Is it the original Devil May Cry? Is it Darksiders II Definitive Edition? Or is it the prospect of a beautiful Biomutant world, bringing an open world to the Switch in what looks to be an exciting fashion? Give us your take in the comments down below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and are pumped for more of this third-party army, increasing its size, building its ranks on our favorite little hybrid. And until next time, myself and Gabe, thanks so much for watching. SwitchForce out.